In real estate, a bad decision can not only cost you money, it can cost you time and big regrets in your future. So how do you know if you're getting a bad deal? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over 5 different signs that you may be involved in a bad deal, and more importantly, how to avoid them. And stay tuned to the end because the last one I think is the biggest sign and how to avoid it. Hey there, I'm Iker Serna. I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of Idaho, and I've been helping families just like you move, buy, and sell in the state of Idaho for the last 7 years. If you're thinking about buying, thinking about selling, give me a call. I would love to help you. So sign number 1 is the price feels off. So everybody nowadays feels like they're an expert in pricing houses and they know exactly how the market's running, but it changes from day to day. And there's a lot of people who think they're Zillow experts and online experts, but the price varies from day to day. And the biggest way to combat that is with real data. Your agent should be giving you comps that have recently sold and not just things that are on the market currently. So the best way to combat this or to avoid this sign is to have real data. All right, sign number 2 that you're probably involved in a bad deal is that you really always feel like you're rushed. And yes, real estate can and may need to move quickly, but you should never feel rushed. You should feel confident. You should feel like you're able to ask all the questions and get everything you need out of it. I think also too, you should be working with an agent that understands your timeline. Some people like to move quickly. Some people like to get things done and they have a certain amount of time to do so. Some people don't. I always tell my client, okay, if you're feeling rushed, let's sleep on it. There's not many deals that will disappear overnight. So the biggest way to combat this is just tell your agent, tell the people you're working with, hey, I need a minute to breathe. I need a second to think about what we're doing and make sure that this feels right. All right, sign number 3 that you may be involved in a bad deal is that someone suggests or people are pressuring you to skip the inspection phase of your home purchase. And there was a time where people would forego and skip the inspection and it cost people thousands of dollars because 2 months after they purchased the house, the floor would fall in or the roof would fall in. Getting an inspection is something that I always recommend, whether it's new construction or a house that was built in the 1920s. So the biggest way to combat that is to always get an inspection. They run anywhere from like $350 to $550, and it just gives you, even if you're not asking for a lot of repairs on the inspection, it gives you a really good picture of the condition of the home, and it gives you a really good understanding of what the home that you're buying is. So never ever skip the inspection. I highly recommend getting one on almost every purchase that I do. All right, sign number 4 that you may be involved in a bad deal is bad paperwork. A lot of what we do with buying and selling a home is written in contracts, and these contracts are the meat and potatoes of a transaction. So if you feel like your paperwork isn't filled out well or we're always having to re-sign and do addendums, it's probably not the best deal and you may want to look at what you're doing. And the biggest way to counteract that is make sure you do read and you get the opportunity to read what you're signing. So many times people are just sign here, but I would tell your agent or tell the people you're working with, hey, I want 30 or 40 minutes to really go over this contract, and then I want an additional time to ask any questions that I may have. All right, so the last and final sign that you may be involved in a bad deal, and this I think is the biggest and most important one, is that your gut is telling you you are. I am a big fan, and I always try to explain this to my clients. If you have the feeling that this is a bad deal or something feels off to you, then go with it. Your gut instinct is what you're going to have to live with, and you're going to have to live with this decision for the next 10 to 20 years of your life. So if it feels right, it doesn't feel like something you want to move forward with, and then let's call it off. Let's find something else. I've always noticed when I'm working with people, there's that spark, there's that moment where everything just falls into alignment and it feels right and they're excited and they can move forward. That's when you know it's right. If you're not getting that feeling and you're always feeling terror, and yeah, it is scary to buy a house, it is scary to sell a house, and there is some anxiety with it, but the majority of those feelings should be good, positive feelings. And you should feel like, oh, I'm excited, I'm really happy. If you're not getting at least a little bit of that, then you're probably involved in a bad deal. And the biggest way to avoid that is just listen to your gut. Like make sure that you're checking yourself every time that you're making a decision and say, oh, this is something that I'm excited to do and I'm happy to do. So that's the biggest and most important sign. So the final thought on this is bad deals don't just happen. They tend to warn you. So be careful and just make sure that you're going with your gut. If you found this interesting or you'd like more information, all of my stuff is linked below. If you could please like or subscribe to this video, I'd appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.